everybody from wherever you're watching us from. This is Marriage Talks Season 3. Welcome. This is High Heights Church, where we love, serve, grow, and make a difference. We hope you've been enjoying the previous sessions that we have done, and I hope you have invited someone. When you find it's good, share it with someone, share it with your friend. And once again, the amazing panel is here with us. Oh, and in a very few episodes, we'll be coming to the end of the season 3, and it's very sad. This panel has been so amazing. We shall announce when. But once again, we are joined by the amazing, let's start from that side at this time. We are joined by the amazing Mashurius. Please say hello to the viewers.
Hello, everyone. It's amazing to be here tonight. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, Naomi.
Hi, everyone. You're welcome to this session one more time as we discuss, as we learn together. Yeah.
Amazing. Let's, yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'll introduce myself. My name is Pauline, pastor of High Heights Church. Welcome to Marriage Talks. Comment, like, subscribe, follow, share, and everything else. God bless you.
Thank you once again. Somebody said one of the greatest opportunities and privileges that pastors have is that the people can give you undivided attention for amount of time. And we really want to honor you by respect that you are showing by logging in and listening to us for 30 minutes. Thank you so much, and God bless you. I believe that there is something that you learn that will transform your marriage and change the destiny of not only your marriage, but also for your life and your children.
Hallelujah.
Hello, everyone. James Wairia, my lovely wife Susan, and welcome.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Feel welcome. Please like, share. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, share, like, follow the page. And tonight you are in for a very amazing topic. As always, we got you here, and we are trying to deal with a lot of facets of marriage in the little time we have. And today we have an amazing topic. We are talking about unhealthy relationships. And most of these relationships do not start as unhealthy as they turn out to be, and probably at the beginning stages, they are not there. We don't feel anything wrong until it gets to a point whereby it begins to become a bother. And one of those relationships is relationships that come from family, and they take away from the one thing of every marriage, most marriages, that is depending on where you've placed your boundaries. And it is a cry of many people, because many families break because probably there's too much that is probably coming from the parents, from the sisters, from the brothers, from the uncles. And sometimes you'd feel like the relationships is choking you. Yeah? Let me probably start from the pastors this time, for the first time. In this season, we are starting with the pastors. What are some of the challenges that come because of these relationships? Relationships to do with family. Two people have come together. The Bible says that the man shall leave his father and mother, but actually it does not happen. When the two become one, they become one and pulling other wife. So what are some of the challenges that come because of these unhealthy relationships?
I like to look at from the scripture, and I like to see not only what we are commanded, but also the order of what we are commanded. Because we are told to leave, and then cleave, and then become one. The sequence of that is very, very important. And if at all we can't leave, we can't cleave. And if we can't cleave, we can't be one. The scripture does not just tell you what to do, it also gives you an example. And I love what Abraham told Eliezer when he told him to go and look for a wife for Isaac. He told him, back to my country. And when you go back to my country, look for a wife to be for my son. And then Eliezer asked Isaac, what about if at all? Eliezer asked Abraham, he said, what about if at all the woman does not want to come? And Abraham said, if she is not willing to come, make sure you don't take my son back there. And what Abraham was telling Eliezer, if you find somebody who have attachment issue, that they are not willing to leave, it is a problem. And that problem, if at all she cannot be able to master that, even when you bring her in this house, it will be a problem. So the first thing you'll find, if somebody cannot be able to leave their family, and people who are loyal to their family more than loyal to their husband or to their wives, that's a red flag right there. And probably because of the people who are already married, that is one of the most thorny issues in marriages, when people cannot be able to live. When God laid the order of marriage, He did not give an option or a choice or an idea. It was an order, and marriage cannot survive if that order of man, the wife, the head of the man being Christ, if that order is broken, it's very hard for marriage to survive.
I don't know if we close it at that. Because I think that's very, very, very deep. I think saying the order, leave, become one. 2, if you find someone with attachment issues, it's going to be a problem. That's, I think very powerful. Ma'am, do you want to add on to that?
I like that a lot, because that's what we have lived, and that's what we teach, that there is an order. You have to live in order to cleave, to become one. And if you cannot be able to follow that order, then something else is creeping in, and that something else is toxic to the relationship, because we are a unit. We are a team. We are for each other. We are not against each other. But you find that if there is another voice that is coming in, it is an outsider's voice. And now if you allow that voice to take on the upper hand, then something somewhere is wrong. So it is very important to realize that the man lives and the woman also lives, in order for us to cleave and to become that one unit. So in order for us to have healthy relationships, what we are saying here is that when we are talking about unhealthy relationships, or third parties as we call them, third parties, it is a third party because it is not needed, it is an addition. Now, we are not saying that that having a father is wrong, a mother, a brother, a sister, uncles, or even friends or such like. It is all right, but don't let them interfere in your marriage. For example, I am married to Peter, and his father's name is James. James does not have a say in our marriage. We respect him, we honor him as our father, but he doesn't have authority over my life or that of my children. We really honored him as a father, but when it comes to other things, he cannot speak on the things concerning our home. He cannot control our home, because if that happens, something somewhere is wrong. And if we allow that, then we are bringing in toxicity, because I'll not respect my husband if I'm listening to the voice of my family. What my family says goes. That's not right. They are not part of this marriage. How are they coming in? And you find that they bring in a lot of issues. There will be a lot of disagreements. There will be a lot of arguing, you know. You will not be open to each other. That's how secrets creep in, you know. And that is now when these things start creeping in. They become issues. And then sometimes we sweep these issues under the rug. But you will find that it is a monster that you have swept under the rug. It will still show up. And then when it shows up, it blows up. And things become very, very dangerous. Now, before that things become radioactive and blows up, you better become proactive and deal with it. So it is good to become proactive rather than reactive. So these things, you need to address them. You don't need to shy away. You need to talk about them. And also you who is being challenged, you have to be open to receive what your spouse is saying to you or to see it from their point of view. And this is the one place where we say that if you're not agreeing, the only third party you can allow to come in is like a marriage counselor or somebody who is coming to bring the voice of reason, who is not siding with you or siding with your spouse, but they are coming in as a voice of reason, as a voice of wisdom to help you through that issue, to help you through that maze that seems to be impossible that you can get out of it. So third parties are very, very dangerous, and we want healthy marriages. We want healthy families, and that is why we have to be aware and keep that awareness sharp that you don't let a third party come in.
Wow. You have anything to add? And to just to make it clear, it's not that we are talking about cutting relationships. We are talking about not encouraging the relationships to grow to the place of them being toxic to the marriage. Yeah, I think that's very important. Yeah, Sergeant.
Okay, I remember when I was introducing James to my people, my family, they asked me, where is he from? I said, he's from Kenya. All of them, they said, no, if he's from Kenya, please don't bring that man to us. My brother, our big brother, asked me, what does he do for a living? I told them, he's a musician. Oh, he said, okay, now we are in for it.
Trouble.
I tell you. But one thing I told them, this man, actually we are not coming to stay with you. Actually, I am the one who will go to Kenya. So I'm the one who is supposed to know the right person to live with, not to live with you. I think from that time, I think I just struck a line that this is my man, and anything about us, it's about us. So you're not allowed to come in and interfere, because this man is not, I'm not married to him for you, it's for me. And I think they respect me for that even today, and I thank God. So it's good to put these boundaries as early as possible so that they may know these people, they have their boundaries, so you cannot cross. And another thing that I have come to know that really attract the third parties is when couples expose their lives to people. Probably you may have issues with your spouse, and instead of you sitting down and talk it out and know how to solve it, you are going to speak it out. Like I'm a woman, you know, ladies love talking. I can go there, I can share with another lady. That lady will not stop. It will go probably to James' family and share it there. So it brings a poison to the family, and it allows third parties to come and bring their advices and just come in and destroy everything. So it's good to keep boundaries. If you have issue, try to solve it within yourselves. And if it's not possible, identify a person who you really trust, who can come in and advise. Yeah.
I think they say before James comes in, I think nowadays they say that there are some people that you will know the flow of their life just by watching their WhatsApp status or their
Yeah, that's true.
and there are other people who break up on Facebook. Yeah, so it's very important to keep your life private. Very, very nice. Sorry.
Yeah, I really thank God for that battle that was fought, for me. I didn't have to fight. I didn't have to fight that one. My wife was wise enough to go ahead and block it even before it started, and it worked for me. When I went to pay the bride price, that's the bride price, yeah. Dowry, yeah, the dowry. The family looked at me and they told me, "You brought so much. we won't receive all of it." Yeah, they gave me back some of the money. And I said, "I think these are good people." But now I know why. Because she went ahead and made, cleared the bushes, and they knew this is a good man who is coming to our family. We are privileged that we've not had battles with in-laws, even when we got married. My wife has never had any problems with my mom or with my dad, apart from a few issues with probably my sister and my brother, and those are just the normal. You know how sisters can be and how the drunkard brother sometimes can be. You know how they can be sometimes. They come with words when they are drunk. They want to speak. They want to take control of the brother. They want to take control of the brother. But I dealt with that seriously. Sometimes with a whip. My wife can tell you, I dealt with it even with a whip. That is back in Africa, where you can whip them. I whipped them, isn't it? Yeah, I did. Because I couldn't entertain anything that, something to come in between me and my wife. And we have enjoyed the privilege of living together for going to 20 years now. And we've not had any problems. Yeah, so I don't think I have so much to say about that.
I think one point I got from that is deal with it early. Because if you don't draw the line early, I think you leave a loophole for, it's like a homestead that is not fenced. Anything can pass by. Yeah.
Boundaries are important.
Yeah.
Boundaries are important. This is how far you can come. This is how far you can go. Because if you don't have those boundaries, you're open to abuse. And anything can be thrown at you and you can be attacked. And the thing is, they start small. You ignore it. They get, it becomes a little bit bigger. You better deal with it. You nip it right at the beginning. Because if you don't nip it, then it's going to grow. And you're going to feed it. You keep feeding it and it will swallow you. So you better nip it and have boundaries. Now, take note, we are not saying that don't have honor. We are not saying that don't have respect. Because, for example, like a drunkard brother, he's being given the voice by the alcohol.
Yeah.
When he's not drunk, he doesn't talk.
I know it's
Yeah,
true.
but otherwise it's also showing those are the thoughts that he has, but he can only bring them out when he's drunk.
When he's drunk, yeah.
So you see, if you don't do that, your wife is open to abuse. What happens, like when you are working out of town or you are away, they can attack your
That's
wife
true.
because you have allowed it. So boundaries are very important.
Just one thing before Suzanne and James speak. One of the problem with Aaron was he was people pleasers. And in this life, it's not just enough to know what is right, but you have to stand for it. And if you cannot be able to fight for your marriage and tell people, you can't do this, I'm willing to please my family, I'm willing to please my friends at the detriment of my marriage, then you are weak, and your weakness at the end of the day, it will come with a very great price.
Wow.
I think for us, from very early on in our marriage, we had to have discussions about third parties, even especially where family is concerned. So because, we got married in our early 30s, so if you think about it, we've been living that long with our families. There's people in your family that maybe have relied on you or have had certain expectations of you. Now you're married, they need to realize somebody else comes first because we are one. You cannot even, there's no space between. When you live, you cleave, you are one. So it is also being able to speak to family members and explain to them that who priority is, what priorities are, what maybe you used to do before that you can't do anymore because something else. Your marriage comes first, things like that. And being the best advocate of this new person in your, because to your family, they know you, but the person who you're now married to, they don't know this person. You're the only person that can advocate for them. So you speak well of them. And always using the word we. I never have I. You ask me something about, can you do this? I'm like, I have to discuss it with my husband first. That is how we try to, we've always been a united front so that no one will ever have that. They know they can't ask James because maybe he's, I don't know if I can use nicer or whatever. They know that it's a we. Whatever you ask him, he'll discuss with me. Whatever you ask me, I'll discuss. It's just creating a united front. It's a we, yeah.
I agree with it all. I think well, we agree with it all.
I know.
What she says is what I say.
Yeah.
So, but Mom, you mentioned something very important about nipping it early on. That is very important because, as you said, if you don't nip it early on, you're feeding that monster. And the monster doesn't stay little, it keeps growing. So now, if you don't nip it when it's still like a bud and get rid of it, it's harder now to get rid of the bigger monster. So, as my wife has said, operating especially as we, that is very, very, very important. Because whatever, even up to the level of our own children, if they want something, let me ask mommy, or let me ask that, we'll discuss it. Because even them, they have to understand that we are one. Because we can't let them come in between. So when it gets now, even your own children, you can do that. Even now, dealing with family and other third parties becomes easier because you know from the base where you are operating. You know we're operating from the level of, at the start, the two of us, go to your children, then you go now to the extended family, the nuclear family, then everyone now will realize whatever happens, it has to go through both of them. I can tell you there's some people who call my wife and I don't talk to them. It's not that I don't, they are family, but they have to respect us as well some protocol. They will talk to her more than they talk to me. Because if they keep calling me, even her, she'll be, why? Sometimes you have to get that peace at home and you have to be wise. You have to say, by the way, now, I'll be forwarding your calls. That way, I have peace at home. But it's not in a bad way. And I'll still pick up calls the other times. It's just, you got to know as well, as you're operating as one, who are the main people who are coming to you. And maybe some issues, you don't need to deal with it. She can deal with them better, So, and they might be the ones who know how to get you to your weak point and know how to manipulate you. So to avoid even that trap, forward it to them. I go like, okay, you call her next time. That way, it's filtered through here. By the time it becomes to a we, my friend, you're flowing. Yeah.
And I think it's a beautiful thing when, yesterday, Naomi's sister called her. And there's one of the young the sons who is getting married on Saturday, coming Saturday. So we were supposed to make a small contribution was something that the sister wants to buy. But before Naomi concluded anything, she told the sister, please talk to financial controller. Not that I control finances in the house, but it's just that matter of we. So that it may come, they may know that Naomi doesn't have her own money, and I don't have my own money. It's our money, so we discuss on what we want to send. And because like for us who come from Africa, we have parents from out there who require that we send something once in a while. Even in that, we agree. We sit down and say, let's send mama this. Let's send our dad this, whatever, this little amount of money. I never do anything without consulting my wife, and she never does anything without consulting me. And now you see that settles everything. There are no secret transactions happening privately without my knowledge, and that builds trust as well. So, but if you entertain people to be calling, like what Susan is saying, that's really nice. If you entertain people to be calling you privately and asking you for money, asking you for a favor, and you don't share it with your partner, one day it will cause trouble. One day.
Yeah, you see how like us, the other thing we do is if you do that, you call, we'll put it on speakerphone. By the way, my wife is here. Now say what you are saying.
Yeah.
That's when you realize people are calling, the stories disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I like that. I like that because once that language of we rises up, and especially from an African setting, because sometimes the way we were raised up, we were not raised up in a way that we can be able to speak the truth in love, and especially when it comes to our parents. Sometimes it's very, very hard to tell them no or anything like that, but there's a way we can do it honorably. And I believe that language of, let me speak to my wife, we will come back to you. You are telling them there is somebody else who matter in this discussion, and I'm not ready to make any decision without me consulting them. So it is a very, very nice way of we, especially from an African setting.
I also think it's important, you who has gotten married, like Susan said, you cut the strings. You have now left your father and mother to cleave. So those are some of the areas that where you see third parties coming in, where you don't cut the strings. You're still very much dependent on the advice of your mom. You're still very much, and it is honorable. And they have wisdom with, experience and all that. But, you're still very dependent on what your brother says, on what your sister says. You are a grown person. For you to get married, you're mature. So you should be able to make mature decisions between yourself and your husband. The other thing is when you live, you also live in time. When I was at home, I was living at home. All my time was dedicated at home. All my duties were in the home of my parents. But now I have my own home. So this idea when you leave work, first you pass through your mother's house, you're there up until 8 o'clock, then you're taking food to your husband in a container, you don't even have time to cook for your husband. That is wrong. Then your husband says, there is no pot in this house you can cook for me every time you're coming with food from your mother's house, because your time, you have not left in your time. You still find more to spend more time in your family home than in your own home and build your own home. So you need to live also in terms of finances, especially in a setting where that there are people who are dependent on you. Agree on your budget. Talk about it. Say, this is what we can do. This is how far we can go. Don't have secret projects that your husband doesn't know about or your wife doesn't know about. Because what are they going to bring? They'll bring a lot of pain later on, and we've had stories. So, when we were here, I think it was in Marriage Talk Season 2, when we were having Pastor Tim and Pastor Judy, we talked about priority of time, priority of pursuit. If all my energy is focused on my family, I don't have time for my husband, then I'm not pursuing him. I'm not pursuing this relationship. I'm not pursuing our time together. What other P was there? There was priority of time, priority of pursuit. There was priority of purity. You are so busy every weekend. You are going to take your mother somewhere. You are going to take your father somewhere. You are going to do some project. You are so busy, you don't even have time to spend quality, intimate time with your husband. Everybody knows, conversations, like Naomi was saying, everybody knows your business apart from your spouse. Why can't you talk to the person who is there? This is how we let third parties come in. So we need to be aware of what gates are we opening? What doors are we opening? How can we shut them and keep them shut honorably? Family is important. Very, very important. Family is very important. But the most important unit is this one here. Yeah. So it's important that we realize what gates are we opening and how are we opening them.
But flipping the coin.
Sorry?
Flipping the coin.
Yes.
we should also be able to take responsibility.
Yeah.
And taking responsibility is not by lashing to the problem, but knowing the roots of the problem. I know our time is short, but the other day I went to I had issue with my toes for very many years, and I came to know the danger of misorganizing a problem. All over for over 6, 7, how many years? 6 years, something like that. I always thought that it was fungi until I went to see a doctor.
No, you went to the GP and the GP didn't take you to the specialist.
Yeah, and when I went, I was told there was nothing like it was not fungi. Actually, it was a trauma, because when you are learning, and I don't remember her name, and she told me when you are podiatrist, yeah, she told me that if you are learning, that's the question she asked me. She asked me, "Do you learn?" And I said, "Yeah." "How many kilometers do you do?" I told her the kilometers that I do, and he told now is that if you don't put the right pair of shoe, the right size, is that when you are learning for too long, when your nails start growing, there is a way the edge of the shoe and your nail is pushing the nail backwards. And that's what has been causing every time that my nail grows. At a certain time, I get back to the same problem again. But I diagnosed myself the problem, and I've been telling myself, this is it. And for many, many years, until I went to somebody who had knowledge and told me the problem, how it is.
We don't want to know the remedies Pastor tried.
There is
all
one
the
night.
remedies.
There is
And
one
the
night.
best, tell them.
The
The things are indulging, tell them.
There is one night. My wife like Googling and so many different things, and I was
You're
told.
blaming squarely on me. You are looking for a solution.
And we came to this man called Dr. Berry. And Dr. Berry told us one of the ways to treat fungi is to take a garlic. and what the garlic and what? Garlic and something.
Apple cider vinegar.
There was garlic and there was garlic. And then I was told, you cover it with a foil, clean film. Let me tell you. Oh my goodness. And then I was told to go for 2 hours. And then I said myself, because of this problem I've been here, I'll not give 2 hours. I'll sleep with it. Came a time I was trying to raise the bottle.
That's a very toxic combination. It went and ate up the entire nail because Pastor goes extreme. 2 hours, he decided to make it 8 hours. So the following day, the whole nail had lifted. And he said, oh my God. And I had to sleep in that bed and in that bedroom. The stench of garlic. And you should have found me. I'm very faithful. Crushing it, putting it right on the knee, tying it with oil. You have to sleep with socks today. But it's the GP who had told you it was fungi until he went to a specialist, a podiatrist, and he got to the bottom of the problem.
Coming back to what we are discussing right now, we need to ask ourselves, how come my spouse is finding it easier to communicate our problem to somebody else? If we don't diagnose that problem, we always blame, but blame will not bring the healing. Is it probably I don't have time for her? Is it probably I don't empathize? Is it probably don't understand? Is it probably I ignore what they tell me? Because blaming will not solve the problem, but understanding the problem will help you provide the solution.
Wow. Glory. Find the right size of shoes. I will leave you with an African proverb that says, the bicycle belongs to two people. The third one is unnecessary. This is High Heights Church, where we love, serve, and grow and make a difference. And this is Marriage Talks, where our marriages must come to a place of rest. See you in the next episode.